Plans by MTN Nigeria to list on the local stock exchange may be delayed until 2018. The European Union gives Zambia about $70 million to expand electricity supply, plus Kenya's government asks four international banks to raise $800 million in syndicated loans to plug its budget deficit. Hello and welcome to the program. I am Bosin Mafaye in Lagos. Let's get started. That story from Nigeria, where indications are emerging that the South Africa-based telecom giant MTN may put off plans to list its shares on the Nigerian Stock Exchange until 2018 as the Africa's largest wireless carrier works to resolve a regulatory dispute and awaits an economic recovery in the continent's most populous and largest economy. According to MTN chairman and acting chief executive officer Futhuma Ndleko, who was speaking at the annual meetings of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, he says regulatory issues need to be resolved in Nigeria and the macro conditions of the country need to improve. MTN agreed to list the unit in Nigeria as part of the settlement of a 330 billion naira fine imposed by the regulator in Nigeria for missing a deadline to disconnect unregistered subscribers. MTN says last July that the listing will take place this year, 2017, subject to market conditions. MTN shares have lost more than a third of its value since the Nigerian fine was handed down in October 2015. And the company has overhauled management and toughened up its approach to regulators as a result. So look at the markets in Nigeria and Johannesburg tilting towards the red zone on the last trading day of the week. At intraday, the Nigerian Stock Exchange All-Share Index was down 0.1%, while the GSE was deeper by 0.86% in negative territory. However, the market in Egypt is closed for Friday as trading resumes on Sunday. Egyptian market lost a whopping 3.74% on Thursday before closing for the weekend. Friday is a weekend in Egypt, and the market will resume on Sunday. That was the first trading day. The Kenyan market was a bit flat at Thursday close, 124.21 reading on the Nairobi All-Share Index. The Middle Eastern markets is also closed for the weekend Friday, as the last trading day was Thursday in the region. Take a look at the closing figures as we have them. Those are some of the major markets across the region. The Saudi Arabian market up by 0.33% before heading for a close on Thursday. It's quiet there today for the prayers and other things. Look at the European market, where we still intraday as we speak, slightly lower, just as the inauguration of soon-to-be U.S. President Donald Trump will be taking place in about an hour from now. Investors seem to be taking a cautious approach as they wait for clarity on what the new U.S. administration would do. So we'll talk to DW TV, Annette, when they're ready for us for that conversation. It's a very important day in the U.S. for the inauguration of the 45th president of the United States. The markets there looking a little bit quiet as we speak. The Dow Industrial a little bit futures there, a little bit quiet this morning, as well as the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ futures around 5,063. That's history. Will be taking place. The market digesting some of what's been said by Donald Trump, the incoming president. Now he's going to be the president within the next 1.5 hours at the most. So focusing on that, the surprise win on November 8th last year. So the stock market have taken off on the Trump bump. Now it's looking at Trumponomics. What opportunities lies ahead? That market has lost some of the steam. So look at some of the stories in the week of the inauguration. Stock markets have been trading lower this week as the Dow creeps back down from the key 2,000 level. We saw more of a defensive tone on Thursday with that dip around 2 p.m. in the Dow, which sent the average figure, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, down 120 basis points. We're now on 69 straight trading days of the S&P 500, not trading higher or lower than 1%. So these dips are going to feel exaggerated. Meantime, traders are looking for more clarity on Trump's economic and trade policy. So until that overhang is removed, markets may be in this limbo of environment. Donald Trump will be sworn in without key members of his cabinet in about an hour from now. However, the key driver of the stock market on Wall Street over the long term is the earnings season. In the short term, earnings can be the primary driver of market performance. About 10% of the S&P 500 have reported, and results are largely in line with very high expectations. So you're looking at the very quiet early hours of today. As soon as sunrise on the East Coast, you find that inauguration taking place. A lot of things weighing on the mind of traders and a lot of uncertainty politically and economically from the world's largest economy. Okay, let's take a look at where it's dinner time now in Tokyo. They'll be watching Donald Trump's inauguration. So let's get a sense of what is happening. Asian markets were a mixed bag today after China's latest set of economic data suggests the economy is recovering, even as risk sentiment sours ahead of Donald Trump's inauguration. Mainland China, Chinese markets were in the green. Early in the day, the Shanghai Composite was about 0.69% better, and his cousin, the Shenzhen Composite, finished 1.52%. The Japanese Nikkei 225 wavered between negative and positive territory ahead of the president-elect's inauguration, but finished higher 0.34%, finding some sort of direction. The Australian ASX 200 was down about 0.66%. In South Korea, the Kospi was down 0.35, while the Hong Kong's Hang Seng was down 0.5% in the afternoon of today. Of course, the market has changed, closing that up. So let's look at the markets and other stories. The Nigerian markets is part of the conversation for today. Look at the bond auction by the debt office on Wednesday. The Nigerian government raised a record 215 billion naira in dated FGN papers, a very successful and oversubscribed auction for the DMO, the first in the new year 2017. What does this mean? Let's get a sense of this from Choma Udu, who is a fixed income dealer at GT Bank, one of Nigeria's listed Tier 1 bank. Choma, it's good to hear from you this afternoon on the phone. Thanks for coming through.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, it is a very successful auction by the DMO. The results are in, very heavily oversubscribed, this auction. What does this mean about the appetite out there for fixed income Naira papers by investors?
What it means is that we've seen them clear us at a very high yield at 16.99, and it's very attractive. So it's risk-free. You're going to the government, so people would rather invest in those securities.
Yes, it looks like, yes, that's his confidence, because again, it looks like business as usual has started in the new year. Yes or no, Choma, with this auction?
Yes, we've seen a lot of activities in the market. We've seen interest. We've seen some interest from the FDIs. We've seen interest from local people. So yes, the market has started earnestly.
Yeah, you're sounding like someone who is in a very positive market mood. Or is it because it's just Friday?
For me, it's a good thing, but for the economy, interest rising, it's not really good because of the macros. But we hope that this is going to be a better year. We hope to see more FX liquidity as we see reserves at 27.2 billion. So we are hopeful it's going to be a positive year with more positivity in the market.
But yes, interest rate is a mood killer. It's a mood, so we understand. But again, look at the next week for us a little bit. It's the final full trading week of January. So what happens next week? Book balancing, trying to claw up some gains as far as the first month is concerned. Try to look good starting the new year, is it?
Yes, but next week there is an MPC on Monday and Tuesday. So before the MPC results come out, we're going to see a quiet market. After that, the market will just continue trading, and then we'll see some corrections in the yield.
I agree with you. I agree with you. It's going to be that's a very interesting scenario to hope for. So, okay, thank you very much. Do have a great weekend, Chioma, and keep that mood up till next week when we get to talk sometime after the MPC on Tuesday, the 24th. Thank you very much from GT Bank, Fixed Income Dealer. Let's get back to the European markets, where today is very important, watching their cousins in the United States with the inauguration of Donald Trump as the 45th president of the United States. What's the market? What else is the market thinking about? Is Trump's week? Annette Weisbach is my colleague at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. She's standing by there now to talk to us on this very important day. Annette, it's good to see you. Now, today is the much talked about Trump inauguration. So, are the markets anxious or nervous or calm or confident?
Well, actually, I think markets are in a wait-and-see stance. We have seen a huge rally, a Trump rally, ever since he was elected back in November. But now the markets are rather flatlining, I have to say. Investors and analysts are divided whether this Trump rally is set to continue or whether what we've seen in terms of equity rally is over now. There was a huge shift into equities ever since he was elected as U.S. president. Whether this is here to stay remains questionable, because all what he promises in terms of economic policies will take a while to actually filter through to the economy, and some points as well are very questionable whether he can actually finance it, because the president himself cannot enact, he can enact a lot of executive orders, but he cannot decide on his own will to spend billions and billions of taxpayer monies. There he needs the backing of the Senate and also the House.
Well, Annette, aside Trump, what else is the market talking about or acting upon today? Is there anything else on the wires aside Donald Trump's inauguration?
Well, actually, the market today is really rather calm. There will be inflation figures coming out from the States, which might actually give more meat to the argument of higher interest rates in the States going forward. Yesterday, Janet Yellen was speaking, and she was also pointing towards the fact that rates could actually be soon higher than previously anticipated, because the U.S. economy is doing so well. Looking at the bond market, it's quite interesting. The U.S. Treasuries, the 10 years, are above 2.5%. So inflation is back. I think that's the big thing. Also, producer prices for Germany are showing that prices are on the rise as well in the Eurozone. So it looks that the economy actually has entered quite a healthy, or has entered 2017 in quite a healthy state.
Well, Annette, finally, I'm sure by this time next week, or by this time on Monday, all eyes would have been clear in Washington and around the United States that, yes, Donald Trump is now effectively in the Oval Office. The inauguration will be over. All the dinners and the champagne will be done by... So talk to us about the morning after the dinners and inauguration and the party, the dance hall, the balls, whatever you call it. So what will the market be doing from Monday?
I think it will be actually just starting to be very interesting, because what will happen is that we see the first actions by the new administration in the United States. So far, it's still speculation. Nobody really knows what's going to happen, because Mr. Trump is quite erratic in his behavior, and also when he takes to Twitter. So what will be interesting, and also market driving, whether he really will enact measures, for example, to cut or to increase tariffs on certain products from certain regions in the world, i.e. China, whether he will perhaps unravel certain trade agreements. That's super interesting for the market, and that is here to stay. Here in the Eurozone, the earnings season starts with the software giant SAP reporting next week. So we head into another earnings season, and this will be interesting as the economy is doing quite well in the Eurozone. Interesting to see whether this is also being reflected in the corporate balance sheets.
Annette, I'm going to grab something decent to drink. Sit on the sofa tonight, this evening, Nigerian time, and watch the inauguration. Then we'll come back on Monday. Everybody's clear-headed. Then we'll get on with our lives and with the business of Donald Trump and the market. Thank you very much, Annette Weisbach in Frankfurt. Enjoy your weekend, and see you next week. Thank you. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.